Hey guys, how you guys doing tonight? This is Darren Jackson. I'm going to talk about the Big 12 previews. Just going to break down some teams in the Big 12. Give us your takes on a few teams that probably will be looking good, or teams that may or may not um, be in the Big 12 title picture. I'm just going to give my thoughts and my expertise on a few teams. If you guys have any comments, please comment, like, and subscribe to my show, Darren Jackson. This is the Darren Jackson Show. Just technically, just doing a little small preview talk about the Big 12. Got the Dave Campbell Texas Football Magazine. I am so happy and elated to get it. Here you guys go. This is Dave Campbell, Texas Football Magazine. Front cover, you have Joey McGuire, the new head coach at Texas A&M. No, I'm sorry, Texas Tech, and Jeff Traylor, UTSA head coach. And on the side, you have South Oak Cliff, the Class 5A Division Two state champions from last year. A lot of people was not expecting for South Oak Cliff, as you probably got a chance to watch my show when I talk about South Oak Cliff right after they won the state championship. Nobody didn't expect for them to win it. I expected for them to win the whole thing. I knew that if they beat Alito, no one was going to touch South Oak Cliff, and I was correct about that one. I'll do some high school previews in the next couple days. But we're going to get to the Big 12, talking about, yes, my Texas Longhorns. I'm a Longhorn fan. I love the Big 12. I know the Big 12 is going to expand the next couple of years with the additions of Cincinnati, BYU, Central Florida, and Houston. And I don't know if SMU is going to be there or not, but the Big 12 should be competitive because Oklahoma and Texas is going to move to the SEC. Well, we're definitely going to get into some SEC talk. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow, I'll do an SEC talk. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Darren Jackson preview is sponsored by Coca-Cola, Coke Zero, zero sugar. And like it says, Studio Pass. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Big 12. We're going to break down some teams in the Big 12 that may or may not be the odds-on favorites, or who's not going to be good, who I think that it's going to be okay. First and foremost, let's talk about the Baylor Bears. Last year, they was the surprise team. They won the Big 12 championship game over Oklahoma State. They go to the Sugar Bowl and knock off Ole Miss. Blake Shapen, he seems to be a very good quarterback. He is the sophomore quarterback from Shreveport's Evangel Christian Academy, a well-recognized school. Last couple years, Evangel has not been that good, but that's Louisiana. I'm not trying to get into too much details about it, about Louisiana. I'm just going to go ahead and give us some teams that I think is going to be pretty good. I think Baylor is going to be a good team. They're not going to be 12-2. They're not going. Baylor's not going to go undefeated. Oh, excuse me, guys. I think Baylor is going to have a good team, but the only thing about it is that I don't think they're going to be as good as I expected them to be. As I take a look at their schedule, taking a look into the Dave Campbell Texas Football Magazine, I think that Baylor is going to be an 8-4 team. I don't want to say 9-3 because I don't think that they're going to get past 9-3. Dave Campbell Texas Football thinks that they're going to be 9-3, but I don't think that they will. I think that Baylor is going to be 8-4, 7-5, maybe. They're going to slump down. They got talent. They're very good. I don't have nothing against Baylor. Right? Sorry. I had to get my coat drinking. Okay. All right. So, Baylor, what do they expect for this year? They host Albany. They got to go to BYU, take on BYU Cougars. Texas State, home game at Iowa State. Start off Big 12 conference play. Then they host Oklahoma State, rematch from last year's championship game and the Big 12 title game. They got a bye week that week on October the 8th. Then after their bye week, they got to go to West Virginia, taking on Mountaineers. They host Kansas, at Texas Tech, and at Oklahoma. And then they have a 3 home game slate: Kansas State, TCU, and finish off the year against Texas. Like I said, I think Baylor is going to be a pretty good team. I'm not knocking nothing against the Bears. I think that they are going to be very good. I think that they're going to have some struggles on offense. I think Blake Shapen is going to have an okay year. He just got to have some weapons. They lost a lot last year, both on both sides of the ball. As I took a look at it, I think that the receiving corps should be okay. If Blake Shapen can't get the job done, then the backup quarterback is going to be Kyron Drones from Shadow Creek. He helped Shadow Creek win the state championship, 5A Division I. It was like a couple years ago. Let's see. They have a pretty good schedule. Pretty good. Well, not saying that the offense is going to be the best. They rate their wide receiving group C, offensive line A-, quarterback is B, running backs are B. Abram Smith should be very good. Ty McWilliams should be okay. It's so much to say about Baylor because we don't know how good Baylor can be. Where they lost a lot of talent to the NFL or graduation, but who knows? Anything can happen. I think, like I said, I think the Bears are going to go 8-4, maybe 7-5. If they go 9-3, it won't be a surprise. They did get some really pretty good recruits. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to Texas. This is going to be a make or break year for Steve Sarkisian. As I was talking about Dave Aranda and Baylor, I think Aranda is doing a good job. I got to give kudos to him. Texas. Now, Quinn Ewers or Hudson Card, who's going to be the quarterback in week 1 against UL Monroe? Only time can tell who's going to be the star quarterback. The running back crew of Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson, that's your heavy hitters right there. I think Bijan Robinson is a Heisman Trophy candidate. He got to show it in that Alabama game. He had some flash runs against Oklahoma, and I noticed that the Arkansas game didn't go the way that we expect for it to go, but I think that Texas this year is going to be good. At week 2 game, hosting Alabama at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if Texas is ready for that competition, even though we're going to move to the SEC. I don't know if we're ready for it. The recruits that we're getting ready for it. We're stocking up with a lot of recruits. I know everybody is highly on Arch Manning, Cedric Baxter from Florida, Peyton Kirkwood also from Florida. Then we get Will Randall, who is the tight end for Archbishop Newman with Arch Manning. And then we get Spencer Shannon from Mater Dei from California. Also, we got Jonte Cook in the mix. Malik Muhammad, the cornerback from the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears that we talked about earlier, as well as we got some really good offensive linemen. Defense-wise, we're looking good on defense. Samaje Burrell. We got the guy Sadir Mitchell from New Jersey. I think Texas is going to be looking good, not just only for this year, but next year and the next couple of years. I think that we are ready to go to the SEC and handle our business. Only time can tell about how good this Longhorns team is going to be. I look at the schedule. As I look at the schedule, let's see, we should be okay against Louisiana Monroe. Alabama game can go either way. We don't win the Alabama game. Not saying that we're out of the picture. Well, it says that we just got to get better at what we need to get better at. UTSA, that could be a trap game for us. We host Big 12 play at Texas Tech. Always tough to play in Lubbock. We host West Virginia. Then the big Cotton Bowl game, the Red River rivalry game against Oklahoma. We'll be on the road for that one. Then we host Iowa State. We got to go to Oklahoma State. Then we'll have a bye week on the 29th of October. Then after the bye week, we'll go to Kansas State. Always tough in Manhattan, taking on Kansas State. Then we host TCU. Then we got to go to Kansas. Got to get that revenge factor from last year. And then close out the year against Baylor. I think we go to Baylor this year. I want to say yes or no. I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if that's the case. But when I say offensive-wise, we're going to look good. Malik Murphy, I think that he's going to redshirt after 4 games. Xavier Worthy is one of the best wide receivers in the country that we have. We also have Jordan Willington, who's going to be good. Ajay Hall should be very good as well. Hopefully he won't get himself into a lot more trouble. Isaiah Nayor is that dude is a beast. We got so much weapons, man, on offense. We just got to find the right quarterback who's going to deliver the balls to them, and we get the run game going. Offense line, they just got to handle their business. I like the way Kelvin Banks and Cameron Williams and those guys are stepping up to the plate. We should be okay. Cole Hudson should be good as well. Devon Campbell, he's stepping up big time. I think that we should be good, man. I can't say that we're going to be 8-4. If we be 8-4, I think that we can win 10 games. I think we got 10 or 11 games that we can win. Alabama game, I can't say that we're going to win that because I don't think that we're going to get the win against Alabama. I got to see what week 1 looks like. If week 1 looks the way that we expect for it to look, then if we get a shot to at least hang in there 3 quarters against Alabama and possibly lose by 14, I say that's a win for us. The Oklahoma game, we got to bounce back and knock off Oklahoma. We have lost 4 straight to Oklahoma. We cannot keep losing Oklahoma. Oklahoma has had our advantage ever since the Big 12 title game. After we beat them in the regular season with Kyler Murray and them, but we got to get revenge on Oklahoma. This is not what we expect. We got to break out of that slump against Oklahoma. We cannot lose to Kansas. That cannot happen. No way, no shape, no form. This is something that Texas got to do. We got to handle business, and if we can make it to be bowl eligible, or even we get to the Big 12 championship game. If we can win the Big 12 championship and we can get bowl eligible to where we either get the Fiesta Bowl or we can get the Sugar Bowl or something, if we win a bowl game, then the sky's the limit for next year. And who knows what can happen. I think that the Longhorns are going to be good. Tashard Choice, running backs coach, he's doing a really good job. Brandon Marion, I think he's going to be a very good wide receivers coach. For us, I hope that we keep him for a pretty long time. Bo Davis, defensive line coach, we're stacked on offense. Defensive wise, as I mentioned about Bo Davis, I gotta say, our defensive line, we got to step it up big time. Trevante Sweat, he got to step it up big time. Vernon Broughton, I think he's going to be a very good defensive end. After Alfred Collins, we definitely got to step up. Keandre Colbert, I think he's going to be good. Byron Murphy is definitely going to be good. He's a beast. He's a man among boys. Linebacking crew, I think Jalen Ford should be okay. Luke Breitenmeyer should step up. The Sam position, David Grabenda, Jett Bush should be okay. In the will position, Demarion Overshown, he's very good. I think he's a Buckets award-winning finalist or semifinalist. And then on the corners and safeties, Ryan Watts. Oh, well, what an addition we got from Ohio State. I really love Ryan Watts and how he plays games. Terrence Brooks going to be very good too. Deshaun Jameson, He's pretty good on defense. Anthony Cook moved from corner to safety. That's really going to help us out. Jared Thomas should be very good. I think that we are going to be better than what's indicated. Oh, I forgot about my boy Derek Williams from New Iberia from Louisiana. I didn't want to forget about my boy Derek. You know, Derek going to step up big. Then we got Derek Brown, who's probably going to redshirt from Texas High. I think Derek Brown's going to come in. I think he's going to be a major impact at Texas. We have so much talent that we want to get into. You know, it's so much at Texas that I think we got chances upon chances upon chances to really be good. I don't know if we can get 10 or 11 wins. If we can get 10 wins, that's a win for us. All right, so now we're going to get to TCU. I think TCU they had a slump back from last year, 5-7, 3-6 in the Big 12. Uh, they lost Zach Evans to transfer. He's transferred to Ole Miss. You know, um, Gary Patterson, I didn't get a chance to mention about Gary Patterson. He's now at Texas. He's not a coach, but he is going to be roaming around the sidelines, giving advice and stuff like that. I think he's a great addition to Texas. If anything ever happened to Steve Sarkisian, I think Gary Patterson would be a really good head coach. Just hope Coach Sark can stay there for a long time. I love Coach Sark. I think he's the right coach for us. I really, really believe that Coach Sark is going to help us get to the BCS. Or no, I'm sorry, not BCS. College football playoffs. I keep thinking about the BCS. Oh gosh. All right, TCU. Let's see what they got. TCU should be okay. Max Dungan. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Chandler Morris is the backup. Uh, Ty Barber should be okay. Uh, their wide receivers are B's, offensive linemen are B's, and running backs are B's. Quarterback C minus. I don't know what Sonny Dykes is going to bring, but I think that they can be pretty good. A lot of people think that their strength is going to be defensive back and special teams. Linebackers and defensive linemen, they don't think TCU is going to be as good as what they normally would be when Gary Patterson was there. They always had a good team. They always were loaded on the defensive side of the ball. That was their major key contributors to their defense, making sure they stopped the run, making sure they had a lot of pressure on the quarterback pass differentials. Offensive line, they always move the ball great. TCU always make big plays. So much to say about this team, how good they can be. We don't know how good they can be. They do have some transfers that's pretty good. Terrence Cooks, linebacker who had signed with Texas, he's going to transfer to TCU. Texas Tech offense should be okay. I don't know how good they can be this year. Last year they were 7-6, and lost. They won the bowl game against Mississippi State. Big game is going to be against Texas. They got to go to NC State. They host Houston. They got Murray State. I didn't get a chance to do TCU schedule. Let me go back and do TCU schedule. TCU, they got to go to Colorado. They host Tarleton. They are having a bye week, September 17th. That at SMU. They host Oklahoma in the Big 12 opener. Then they got to go to Kansas State. They host Oklahoma State. They take on Kansas State. Right? I mean, they go to Kansas. Then they host Oklahoma State. Then they host Kansas State. They got to go to West Virginia. They host Texas Tech. They got to go to both Texas and Baylor and finish off the year hosting Iowa State. Texas Tech, they host Murray State. They host Houston. Got to go to NC State. Then Big 12 opener against Texas. At Kansas State, at Oklahoma State. Have a bye week on the 15th. They host West Virginia. They host Baylor at TCU. They host Kansas at Iowa State, and then they host Oklahoma. Texas Tech, offensive wise, they haven't been so good lately. Not after the Mike Leach situations and Cliff Kingsbury. Uh, I don't know if they're a quality team that can really do good this year. They said that the running backs could be the key factors as well as the quarterbacks. Offensive lines and wide receivers could be a problem for them. Defensive wise, their special teams should be good. Defense backs B, linebackers and offensive lines are C's. Joey McGuire, I think that he's going to be an okay coach. I don't know how good he could be. They do have some pretty good transfers. I give them that. Tyler Owens is a good one. And I think that Baylor Cup should be a very good one as well. They got the kid, Tyler King from A-Leaf Taylor. He should be a very good one too down the road. Now, let's get to the teams from the other Big 12 that I'm going to take a look into. First, we're going to talk about Iowa State. I think that Iowa State is going to be a pretty good team. They lost a lot last year. We want to go ahead and search up for these guys. Iowa State, their depth chart. I want to see if I can find their depth chart. The team depth chart should be on here. Let's see what their depth chart is going to look like. Brock Purdy, he's back for his senior year. Charlie Kolar and Chase Allen, two great tight ends. Xavier Hutchinson is a great wide receiver. Sean Shaw Jr. should be a very good one as well. Offensive line should be pretty good for Iowa State. Defense, they lost a lot on defense. I think that defense should be okay. Let's talk about their schedule. Iowa State, they host Southeast Missouri and Ames. Then they got to go to Iowa City, take on Iowa in their traditional game in their rivalry game, I should say. They host Ohio. Then they open up Big 12 play on the 24th against Baylor. They got to go to Lawrence, take on Kansas. They host Kansas State. Then they take on Texas on the road, host Oklahoma. They have a homecoming game against West Virginia. Let's see. When is their off day? When is their off? Their off day should be. Don't see their off day, but they host Texas Tech. They got to go to Stillwater before a Texas Tech game they host. Then they finish off the year at TCU. They should be a very good team. I think Iowa State can get at least 8-9 wins. Who knows? They're pretty stout. And as far as Oklahoma is concerned, let's talk about Oklahoma. Oklahoma football. All right, Oklahoma has a pretty good stout team. Let's see. Let's get to the roster. I don't see the depth chart for Oklahoma. They lost a lot last year after Lincoln Riley left to go to USC. They lost Caleb Williams. Brent Venables is back at Oklahoma. They should have a pretty good team. Take a look at the schedule. Oklahoma, they host UTEP, then they host Kent State before they make the trip to Lincoln, take on Nebraska. They host Kansas State to start the season out in Big 12 play at TCU. Then they have the annual Red River rivalry game against Texas. They host Kansas, and they take the trip to Ames, take on Iowa State. They host Baylor. Then they host West Virginia. No, they at West Virginia. Then they host Oklahoma State and Bedlam, the Bedlam game, and then they at Texas Tech. That should be a very good one as well. Let's see. All right. So as far as media guides goes for the Sooners, in case I'm not an Oklahoma fan, but I got a lot of respect for Oklahoma. I think that Oklahoma is going to be a pretty good team. I think that a lot of people are expecting for them to at least get at least 10 or 11 wins. Last year was a slump year for them. They fell off a little bit, but I think they got the big win against Oregon. Let me see if I can look at the schedule from last year. So last year, I think they won against Oregon. Yeah, they beat Oregon 47-32 in a wild one. Oklahoma should be a very good team. Uh, don't like so much about them. Um, I think the quarterback for Oklahoma, I think his name, I want to see what the kid's name is. I think it's Dylan Gregory. I want to say that's his name. Mm, yeah, Dylan Gabriel. He is the transfer from UCF. Yeah, I think Oklahoma is going to be a pretty good team this year. Um, big shout out to LaDamian Washington. He is on the Oklahoma staff. Got a lot of respect for him. Dang dang. Man, I wish you the best of luck, bro. We rivals right now, but hey, bro, I'm very proud of you, man. I have so much respect for him. If anybody can hear about his story, man, it's one of the toughest stories that he had to go through. As a teenager, during his junior year at Green Oaks. How he lost his mom, but him and his brothers, they have really overcome a whole lot of stuff through a lot of trials and tribulations. Dane, I just wanted to let you know, bro, I'm very proud of you, man, and I wish you the best of luck at the University of Oklahoma as a offensive analyst. I hope you keep doing good work there. Hope one day you become a head football coach, and I hope that I get a chance to interview one day in the near future. I'm very proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you to where it has really been an honor to have you as a friend, and I just hope and wish you the best of luck. Now in the Texas game, hey, I can't root for you, bro. And even though I'm not an Oklahoma fan, hey, I just got a lot of respect for you, man. I'm very proud of you. Uh, if anybody from University of Oklahoma or Oklahoma fans get this message, please let Dane Dane know how much I care about him, man. He means a lot to me. It's like a brother to me. So Oklahoma State. Let's get to Oklahoma State. I think we should. Should we or should we not? 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 Okay, so let me get to it. All right. So we got Oklahoma State schedule. They host Central Michigan, then they host Arizona, and then they host Arkansas Pine Bluff. They open up the season at Baylor and Waco, Big 12 game, big game there on October 1st. October 8th, they host Texas Tech. Then they got to go to Fort Worth, take on TCU. Then they host Texas. And they at Kansas State. They at Kansas. Back to back trips to Kansas. That's weird. They host Iowa State. Then they got to make the trip to Norman, take on Oklahoma in the Bedlam game, and then they host West Virginia, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about Kansas State. Kansas State, they are going to have a very good team. I think Adrian Martinez is the real deal. Spencer Shannon is a real deal for Oklahoma State. I think he's a very good quarterback as well. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback down the road. So let's get to Kansas State schedule. Kansas State, they host South Dakota on September the 3rd. That's on a Saturday. They host Missouri. That should be a very good one. Then they host Tulane. Big 12 opener at Oklahoma. Then they host Texas Tech. That was my nephew right there, guys. Ignore him because he like doing stuff like that, bothering me. You know I'm doing the Big 12. You want to get on the camera or what? You want to say something to the people?
No.
Yes, please. Come to say something to the camera.
No.
He's shy, y'all. He's shy because earlier today, he was riding his bicycle and he was doing a really good job. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of what my nephew does. He really steps up a lot. I'm hoping that he play football one day, or if he runs track, and if he go to a really good school, I'm gonna definitely support him 100%. So back to what we're talking about. Didn't I just say stop, boy? Stop with the finger. This is not USC. You is not fight on. It's this. You do Longhorns.
So this is Longhorns?
Yeah, Longhorns like this.
Where's the
You gotta show it to the
Cowboys?
camera. Show it like this to the camera.
Where's the Cowboys?
I don't know what the Cowboys is. All right, getting back to it. At Oklahoma State. I know it's Iowa State. Oh, why am I still on Iowa State? Okay, so all right, Kansas State. I'm sorry, Kansas State fans. K-State fans, please accept my apology. My nephew, he's going crazy. Anywho, so we are going to talk about Kansas State, K-State. They host South Dakota. They host Missouri. Then they host Tulane before they make the trip to Norman, take on Oklahoma. Then they host Texas Tech. At Iowa State and at TCU back-to-back weeks. Well, it won't be back-to-back weeks because they have the off week on the 15th. On the 29th, they have a homecoming game against Oklahoma State. They host Texas. Then 2 games on the road at Baylor and West Virginia. Boy, get your butt down. What is wrong with you? Go put that bicycle up and get yourself ready for bed. I'm so sorry, y'all. I almost said what I was going to say, but I had to contain myself. I'm trying to keep it PG as much as I can. I'm like Bernie Mac. Man, let me tell you something. These kids today, they get on my doggone nerve. I ain't playing with these kids. I'm going to tell you like this. He keep trying to ride that bicycle. I'm going to bust his head to the white meat. I swear for the Lord. These kids today, they need whooping. They what they need. I'm tired of these kids. Everybody want to talk about these kids. These kids that. If you're a grown coach, you need to hit them in the head. Sock them 2 or 3 times and see what will happen to them. And I can't cuss because I'm on the show right now. I'm trying to contain myself. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Bernie Mac don't play these games. That's what Bernie Mac don't do. I'm sorry, y'all. You know how to do my Bernie Mac moment. God rest his soul. Boy, you don't touch your mouth. You don't talk to Bernie Mac like that. So I'm gonna calm yourself down. All right, they finish off the regular season at home against Kansas. Should be a very good one for Kansas State. Now let's get to Kansas. Let's see what Kansas is all about. All right, Kansas football. I'm gonna say this: we better not lose to Kansas the second straight year. That's all I know. All right. Kansas, they host Tennessee Tech. They're on the road. against West Virginia the second week, the Big 12 opener. Then they got to go to Houston, take on Cougs. Then they host Duke. Should be a good one. Then they take on Iowa State, host TCU at Oklahoma, at Baylor. They host Oklahoma State at Texas Tech. Then they host Texas. Got to get revenge on Kansas. And at Kansas State to finish off the year. And then, last but not least, West Virginia. Let's talk about the Mountaineers. Mountaineers, they're gonna have a really good quarterback in JT Daniels. I don't know if he's gonna get the starting position. I think that they are going to be a very good team. Let's see what they look like on the schedule. They host Pittsburgh. Well, no, they travel to Pittsburgh, take on the Panthers. Then they host Kansas, host Towson State at Virginia Tech. Then they at Texas. They host Baylor on a Thursday night. Then they take on Texas Tech on the road at they host TCU for their homecoming at Iowa State. They host Oklahoma, and then they finish off the year hosting Kansas State. And on the road, and actually they finish off the year at Oklahoma State. So the Big 12 is basically like this. You're going to have some really good teams in the Big 12 that's going to step up. And it's going to be very good. I think that this is going to be the year the Big 12 can make some noise coming up. So I know my prediction is Texas to win the Big 12, but then Oklahoma could win the Big 12. I don't know how far we are away from Oklahoma, and as far as how we look as a team, but I think that this could go down to the final week of the season. Who's going to play for the Big 12 championship game? Only time can tell on who's going to play. Big shouts outs to everyone. If you got a chance to listen to the show, or if you're going to get a chance to watch it, just hope that you guys can make some comments. Like I said, please like, or also I'm going to try to do some subscribing to my show. So if you guys are interested in wanting to watch the Big 12 preview, please do so. So tomorrow I'm going to do SEC talk and talk about Texas A&M, talking about everybody in the SEC, especially Alabama, Georgia, defending national champions, LSU, and just talk about a lot of teams in the SEC and see what they're going to be looking like this year. So in the meantime, guys, I'm going to wrap this up tonight. This is Darren Jackson. You guys have a wonderful night.
No.